What's up, YouTube? Just bought my very first Polaris. I'm going to be doing a review on it. You guys can go ahead and attack me down in the comments because I swore I'd never own one. But after seeing one of these little 570 Ranger SPs in person, it is literally the perfect side-by-side, size-wise. And I'll go over that in a review that I'm going to be going through. But right now I wanted to go over if anybody has a base model of the 570 SP and wants to do a winch install and put the pulse bar on. I wanted to do a little walkthrough because, especially with the winch, I ended up having to get on some of the Polaris forums and people were having the same problems that I was having. And I actually figured it out for the winch. But let me just do a little walkthrough here on hooking up the pulse bar. When you get the pulse bar, basically, it obviously comes with the pulse bar. I got the 6-panel one, instead of the 3-panel. So you get the pulse bar. It comes with this. Comes with this plate, and a negative wire, which is a short one that runs from here to here, and then it comes with a long positive wire that runs from there back to your battery. So it's a really simple install. What you do is you just remove these 8 push pins on your transmission cover or whatever you want to call it, and then you just run the wire back to your battery, and then you can, there's little push pins that go in that run all the way up to the front. You just keep it, it comes nice, you keep it nice and separated, and it does a pretty good job. The way that they sent everything, it's pretty laid out, pretty self-explanatory. Once you get the pulse bar bolted in, you want to bolt this in first. There's 3 bolts that hold it in. Once you get that put in, then you put this plate on, you run your wire up through, connected, and bada boom, bada bing, there you are. But I can tell you right now, the push pins for this, the 3 that hold it in up here at the top, you can't really see them from here, but there's one over here, and there's one up here, and one over here. Those went in great. These ones down here, these push pins that they want you to put in the frame, do not fit. So you have to use a 5/16 hole to drill it out, or 5/16 bit to drill that out a little bit, because they will not push down in there unless you do otherwise. Anyway, on to the winch. So you guys have seen a lot of my winch install videos. I've done plenty of them. This is the first plug and play winch that I've ever bought, because I figured, hey, you know what? Let's try it out, see how simplified it is. Okay. Well, it just turned into a total catastrophe. Well, I don't want to say a catastrophe, but I was having some serious problems. So much so that I actually got on the Polaris Ranger forums, and obviously everybody was having the same problem that I was. And there was a lot of bad information on there, guys. So this is why I'm kind of posting this video. If you guys look at the instructions on this, this right here is what was posted on the Ranger forums, the question that was in play. And this was the same question that I had. Where did this go? Well, on the Ranger forums, guys are like, "I'll just cut that off. Then you can pigtail it into your pulse bar, blah, 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 blah," because they couldn't find anything. I couldn't find it neither, guys. Again, it's this section right here. Let me get a little better picture of that. This section right here, and it's this pin. Because the way that the directions tell you is that it's got to run up through here, come out, plug into your accessories. Well, that's non-existent up there. It's nowhere up there to be found. So what I discovered, this wire is the wire that's in question. And just so you guys know, that Polaris actually tells you to run all of this harness back behind this plate. That's literally almost impossible to do. especially where they tell you that the push pins go and you have to try and bend these wires. I couldn't do it. Spoke to an actual Polaris mechanic. He doesn't do it that way. He actually recommended that you run it here in the front. This isn't final how I'm going to do the wiring. It's just a rough so I could get everything tested to find out, you know, if it works or not. Anyway, this is the wire that's in question. Everybody was like, "Oh yeah, just cut that off and use the green wire, and you can run a blue wire off of your pulse bar, you know, the 3 wires, the switches that come with, or not the switch, but the plug comes with 3 wires. You can do that, blah, 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 blah." Well, I actually went to a Polaris dealership because I was like, there's no way that this is a plug and play winch and you have to start cutting wires because there's no accessory plug that goes to this. I was just like, there's no way. But even on the Ranger forums, people were like, "Oh yeah, just cut it off." Well, I kind of had a feeling that was bad information, so I kind of just disregarded that. Well, right there's the accessory switch. For all you guys that are questioning where this is supposed to go, this is actually a dummy plug that this wire pulls out of. And there's your accessory switch for this wire. Let me set the phone down here for a second, get it plugged in, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So there it is, plugged in. Now, I don't know why Polaris tells you to run that wire up behind the pulse bar and plug it in, because here's the wire. And it's nowhere close to being up here by this pulse bar. This wire's so short that it's like tied into the winch harness, so it wouldn't have looped and pulled back down to here. I don't know, guys. I just think that, I don't know, the Polaris engineers need to have a serious sit down with whoever drew up this fucking quagmire, because it is just total shit. I mean, when I went up to the Polaris dealer, I was basically asking if they had a premium model up there that I could look at to see if I could figure out where the fuck these wires went. All right? Well, so I took this with me, and I whipped it out and showed the mechanic, and he's like, "What the hell, man?" He's like, "These instructions suck." This guy works on these things all the time, and he's like, "These things suck." Imagine being somebody, you know, this is my first Polaris, guys. You know, and my first plug-and-play winch. I mean, I've always done my own hard wiring with the winches and switches and everything like that, you know, getting an aftermarket one like a Warner or a KFI or something. So this is totally new to me. But it was just total shit. It didn't make no sense to me. But I figured that I would post this for people that are having the same problems. Now, this has got me a little confused too. Still haven't figured out what this is. Because you got a wire that comes down literally right off of the winch, right off the solenoid of the winch. It comes up. Now, this wiring harness is all coming off of the solenoid as well. But there's the female end. There's the male end. Now, if you plug them in together, they still work, but look at the tension. There's no way to run them. And if I'm not mistaken, if you scroll through these shitty instructions, it says somewhere in here that wire, that 2-prong wire is for the automatic shutoff. So I don't know if these are supposed to be plugged in together. But even if you try and run them, if you try and route them along the harness, so you know that they're not flopped and laid around all over the place, you guys can see how short you are. If you try and take a shortcut, you can't make it. So the only way you can do is plug it in like this, and then you got wires that are all nice and tight going across to each other. So I don't know, man. The winch works without them being plugged in together. As soon as I got the accessories switch figured out and got it plugged in, I instantly hooked back up the negative battery terminal, put the rocker switch together, and tried it, and the winch worked. So I don't know if those two are supposed to be plugged in. Maybe you guys can comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are, because if I had it to do over again, guys, honestly, I would most likely get an aftermarket winch and just go old school style. But I ended up mounting my rocker switch right here. Warren recommends that you put it over here. Or not Warren, I'm sorry. Polaris recommends that you put it over here. I don't like that. And just so you guys know, if you get the Polaris winch, they tell you to take this bumper off. You don't have to do that, guys. Now you do have to take a couple of the bottom bolts off, or not the bottom bolts, top bolts. So they tell you to take this bolt off, take this bolt off on both sides, and then remove the whole bumper. You don't have to do that. If you take these top bolts out, take this one out on this side, the other one out on the other side, and then just loosen these bottom ones, this whole bumper will tilt forward far enough. Now, it's not going to come all the way down, but it'll tilt forward far enough that you can actually slide the winch in on top of the bumper. That's the way that I did it, because I just didn't want to have to go through all that hassle of taking it off and then trying to lift it up and hold it there by myself. You know, because it's a kind of a one-man army. But anyway, it's kind of a brief tutorial slash, you know, winch install. Kind of basically just wanted to cover some issues that I seen online and some issues that I was having myself. Again, guys, if you see anything here, if you guys know anything about, you know, like if these are supposed to be plugged in just for the automatic shut off, comment down below. But yeah, just remember, if you're looking for your accessory, it's plugged into this dummy wire down here, and then this one that's on them instructions plugs right in. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to be doing a review. Like I said, this is my first Polaris, and I think this is like the perfect size, 56 inches wide. You know, it's got a real short wheelbase. I think it's going to be hopefully a good machine. I swore I'd never buy a Polaris, but things change. I still got my four-wheelers. I won't be getting rid of those. But yeah, stay tuned for the review, guys. Thanks.